Week 18 of the 2023-24 NBA season is over, which means it's time to run it back. This is Run It Back NBA Week in Review LA Lakers edition. I'm Brandon Sparks, writer at thepeachbasket.net. This is the show where we recap the week that was for the Los Angeles Lakers and then highlight their marquee matchup for the week to come. Let's start with the power rankings by taking a look at where the team lands on the Peach Basket's objective power rankings this week. Overall, the Lakers are number 17 on our power rankings. They finished the week at 1-1. It was a short week in the NBA due to the All-Star break, so there wasn't a lot of movement in the power rankings anyways. They did lose against the Golden State Warriors, which dropped them one seed in the Western Conference to number 10, with Golden State jumping right over them. We kind of knew the Warriors game would be a loss after hearing of LeBron's absence from the game. And the Warriors have also just been on a great stride recently. Just scary for the Lakers, who are losing players to injury left and right. Lost Vanderbilt. We've not seen Gabe Vincent, I don't think, more than 10 games this season. We've lost Christian Wood, and we had Max Christie out for a little bit. So, yeah, just losing a lot of players. There were a few shining moments in the Warriors game. Mostly seeing D'Angelo Russell still play as good as he has since before the All-Star break is great to see. And luckily, the Lakers got a win on the second night of the back-to-back against the Spurs, even with Wembanyama making NBA history with a 5x5, which I believe only one other player has done in their rookie season. Now let's look at the best to do it in the key categories for the Lakers. This is the top performers. LeBron led the team in points, even though he only played one game this week. He had 30 points against the Spurs. Russell averaged 3 3-pointers made in Week 18. LeBron had 13 field goals made on average, which was most on the team. Anthony Davis, once again, dominated the boards, averaging 14 rebounds in Week 18, along with 4 offensive and 10 defensive rebounds. He hasn't been leading the league, but he has been a league leader in rebounding this season. So these numbers come at no surprise, even with someone like Victor Wembanyama towering over him, which is something he's probably not used to. LeBron James had 9 assists in the Spurs game, which led the team in assists for the week on average. The Lakers' defense in the paint continues to shine, with Davis, Hachimura, and surprisingly Austin Reeves averaging 1.5 blocks each this week. D'Angelo Russell proved his defensive prowess this week, along with Rui Hachimura, as they both averaged 1.5 steals. Seeing D'Lo just play good defense and how he wants to be like Derek White on the Celtics, it's great to see, and hopefully we continue to see him great defense. The best game score for the Lakers this week goes to, you can guess it, LeBron James, who had 27.6 against the Spurs. Now let's go to the week ahead. Week 19 for the Lakers. Really tough one. It starts against the Phoenix Suns on Sunday, then a rivalry matchup against the Los Angeles Clippers in what is technically a road game, but we all know it's a home game for the Lakers until the Clippers get out to the Intuit Arena next season. And I'm going to say I might become a Clippers fan just to go to that arena because it is looking amazing. They home game against the Wizards on the second night of a back-to-back after the Clippers. And then finally, the key matchup of Week 19 on Saturday, which happens to be my birthday, March 2nd, is the treat of the Western Conference Finals rematch against the Denver Nuggets. The Lakers, just like most other championship contending teams, are in desperation mode to make something happen and move up in the standings. They do not want to be stuck in the play-in again, especially with teams like the Kings and the Warriors around there. The West is insanely stacked. They have the Mavericks, who are just now finding their stride with Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington. They're coming up. Then there's the Pelicans, who are still looking great with Zion and Brandon Ingram. And then there's the top 4 teams who look way above the rest of the pack: the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Thunder, and the Clippers. So if the Lakers can pull off a run like they did last year when they traded Russell Westbrook for D'Lo, Vanderbilt, and Malik Beasley, and they just found some kind of stride that pushed them into the playoffs, and then we rode that into the Western Conference Finals. So there is a good chance they can make it to the 6th seed with some luck, and if they play just as good as they did last season. So getting a win against the Suns on Sunday is incredibly important, especially considering Bradley Beal is not playing. And we have beaten the Suns a few times this season already, so hopefully we can continue that, especially without one of their star players. The Clippers matchup, always a great one. Always great to watch the Los Angeles Clippers play the Lakers. and hopefully the Clippers and Paul George continue to stumble so the Lakers can squeak a win against one of the best teams in the NBA. The Clippers just played the Thunder, and Paul George just has not been shooting well, and hopefully he could continue to shoot just like playoff P against the Lakers this week. Now, the Wizards game, don't need to discuss that too much. It should be an easy win. The Wizards have looked worse than the Detroit Pistons, which I thought I would never say this season. So that should be an easy win in preparation for the Nuggets. Now, a win against the Denver Nuggets would be absolutely incredible for the team's confidence. Even with injuries to Vanderbilt and Gabe Vincent and Christian Wood, we can still find some hope considering how close the last game we played against the Denver Nuggets was. We were missing D'Angelo Russell in that game, and we still kept it insanely close until the final 2 minutes where Jamal Murray just wiped the floor and scored like 10 straight points, and the game was over. But players like Jackson Hayes, Anthony Davis played amazing. LeBron, of course, was LeBron. If we can find that kind of energy for the Denver Nuggets game on Saturday, there is a possibility we can win, even with Vanderbilt out, who has been a defensive monster, especially chasing around Jamal Murray. So even without him, I think we can possibly get a win, but I have doubts. So I see the Lakers going 3-1 this week, but the Clippers game could obviously end up in a loss as well. So it could be a throw up with that game to go 2-2 this week. Let's move on to full court press. I'll end with a quick look at Lakers news. We call this full court press. I just type in Los Angeles Lakers and see if anything interesting comes up and worth talking about. So let's start with 3 Lakers from last season who LA desperately miss right now, by Anthony Duggett for Lake Show Live. Those 3 players are Lonnie Walker IV, Dennis Schroeder, and Malik Beasley. There isn't much to say about Malik Beasley. He was incredible last season. He's incredible this season, and he was not great last season. I believe the LA lights were too bright for him, and he needed to get away from it all and get out of the spotlight and move somewhere like Milwaukee, where he's surrounded by someone not named LeBron James, who is manning of the best with the fans. And Malik Beasley ended up being benched and getting DNPs last season. So even though the Lakers were offering him more money to stay than the Bucks were giving him, he still ended up going to the Bucks. And I think that was the best move for him because he has been shooting lights out from 3 this season. He is one of the best 3-point shooters this season. He's been averaging 11.4 and a career best 44.4% from long range on 6.5 attempts. And as impressive as that is, he's averaged 63.5% true shooting, which is fairly unreal, as the article says. And his defense has popped off. He's only 27, so he's hitting his prime right now. And it hurts to see him play so great when we could have used this great play last season. I do believe that this happens to a lot of players where they come to LA and the lights get too bright and there's too much pressure and stress that comes with playing for the Lakers and with all the fans who are constantly berating the players. I think that can affect them quite heavily. So I think it's best for him that he went to the Bucks, and he's been playing great for them. So it's great to see, but it is upsetting. The next player was Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder has had multiple stints with the Lakers, and he left this season to go to the Raptors, and he was playing great. He's been doing just as good as he was for us, and then the Raptors traded for Emmanuel Quickley in the OG Anunoby deal, and so Dennis Schroeder just got less and less playtime, and then he was traded to the Brooklyn Nets for Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie was bought out, and then he came to LA, and it looks like Dennis Schroeder could also be a buyout possibility, so he could get a third stint with the Lakers, which I would absolutely appreciate. I love Dennis Schroeder. He brings a lot of energy. He brings a lot of great defense, and he's a pest, and that's what we really need, is someone who is just willing to do the dirty work while the rest of the team puts up the points and everything. And even then, Schroeder can put up great points and stats when needed. So yeah, it's hurt to see him leave from last season because he was so great, and he ended up starting over D'Lo during the Denver Nuggets series. in the playoffs. So it hurts to see him gone, but I would love to see him back if a buyout possibility is going to happen. And the last player was Lonnie Walker IV. Lonnie Walker IV is going to live on in Lakers history for that one quarter against the Warriors in Game 4 last playoffs, where he was a complete microwave and just blew up and had 12 points or something in the fourth quarter and carried the team to a win, and everyone was hugging him and just appreciating how great he was for that one quarter. And now he's shooting 43.3% on his triples. His shooting splits are incredible this season for the Brooklyn Nets, and it makes me miss him even more because the Lakers could always use more shooting. We're still one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the NBA. So anyone who can shoot a three-pointer would be greatly appreciated on the Lakers. And it sucked to see him leave as well, especially since he was young and he brought some energy. And it makes me, all three players I miss, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And the next article is LeBron James had been agitating for LA to trade for this kind of piece by Matt Levine for Sports Illustrated. LeBron James, as we know, is quite the general manager, the GM, as we like to call him. And he has been always trying to trade for a star point guard because he misses those times with Kyrie. Can't blame him, honestly. LeBron and Kyrie was a match made in heaven. It was almost as good as him and Dwayne Wade, arguably better in terms of fit. And missing Kyrie it hurts. It would hurt for any player, honestly. He's so incredible. And LeBron has been trying to trade for a star point guard for a long time, for the Lakers. It started with Damian Lillard when he asked for a trade out, and you would see LeBron and Damian Lillard hanging out during the offseason and stuff. It didn't end up happening because Damian Lillard was just way too much of a trade. We just did not enough to trade for him. So then we traded for Russell Westbrook. And we all know what happened with Russell Westbrook. He did not space the floor. He's a great player. I love him. Great player, great hustle, and he's putting in great work for the Clippers off the bench. And he just did not fit for the Lakers at all. And it's upsetting to see how much the Laker fans berated him and hurt him. And I'm glad that he found a home with the Clippers. But we traded for Westbrook. Bad trade. We traded Kuzma and a first-round pick, which was just way too much. So then we did the Westbrook trade, and we traded Westbrook for D'Angelo and Vanderbilt and Beasley, and that ended up being great. But LeBron has still been wanting a star point guard because D'Lo at the time was very wishy-washy. Right now he's playing incredible. But for a long time, he was very wishy-washy, and that's why he was in the trade rumors this season for DeJounte Murray. And also in the offseason, Kyrie Irving, there was going to be a sign-and-trade type of deal for Kyrie to come to LA, and that did not end up happening because Rob Pelinka wanted to keep the continuity of last season and how we were able to make a Western Conference Finals appearance. I think the continuity was the right decision in the end, but seeing LeBron and Kyrie together again would have been absolutely phenomenal, even though the rest of our team would have been on minimum contracts and barely functional. And I can see if we did trade for Kyrie, we would end up like the Phoenix Suns, where we just have our 3-star players, and then if one of them went out, it would not be great. So I'm glad that we could continuity, but at the same time, having Kyrie and LeBron would have been amazing. And then the trade for DeJounte Murray this season could have happened, but they asked for Austin Reeves, and we just weren't willing to do that, even though Austin Reeves has been very wishy-washy this season as well. He's been having great games and some not so great games. So it could have been a trade that we could have done, but I think the continuity of keeping everyone, especially since D'Lo has been playing incredible ever since those trade rumors started happening, has been, I would think it was the right move by Rob. So as much as LeBron really wants that star point guard to take the offensive weight off of him at times, especially with assists, I think players like D'Lo, who is playing great right now, and Austin Reeves, and also just the role players around them like Rui and Vanderbilt, they bring a lot of energy and toughness that we can rely on. LeBron isn't able to give us 100%. So yes, I think that's my final thoughts on that article. So that's it. Week 18 of the Lakers 2023-24 NBA season is in the books. Join us next week after Week 19, where we once again run it back.